We're in project time management, and we're in the process control schedule, which is part of the monitoring and controlling processes of project management. And control schedule, the word control is the operative word. It's like think of a thermostat. A thermostat on the wall does not just measure the temperature and tell you what it is. It sends messages to the heating and ventilating system, so in order to keep the temperature where you intend it to be. So similarly with control schedule, we are monitoring how things are going. We are looking into the future, and we're also taking action or recommending action to stay on the intended schedule. Part of it is ownership by your team members. If you get team members involved in planning the project, in work breakdown structures, in developing the schedule, then they're going to feel it's their schedule rather than just one that you imposed upon you. So that can be, and in fact, a business policy professor of mine once said, the best form of control is self-control by the people that are actually doing the work. And you'll create a baseline. When your project schedule is approved, probably with the rest of the project management plan, create a baseline. Take the current schedule and you duplicate it by creating a baseline, which is a schedule just beneath the schedule bars, the current schedule bars, and compare against it. As the project proceeds, you can record your actual start date, your actual finish dates, and you can reforecast into the future. But the baseline schedule always stays the same so that you can compare against it. Well, I say always stays the same. There's two times when that baseline could change. One is where there's significant scope changes, and you change the remaining schedule to suit those scope changes. And another time is if the schedule gets quite out of control so that the baseline doesn't mean anything, you're probably going to have a replanning session and create a fresh baseline. And you're monitoring regularly to see how your activities are coming along compared to the baseline. And I advocate at every reporting period, which might be every week or every month, forecast into the future. Take a fresh look at the schedule from now to the completion of the project and answer the question, are we still going to complete on time? Are we still going to meet the milestones coming up, or are we forecasting to be early or late? If we are forecasting to be late, that's bad news, but it's better news to announce it early rather than keep it as a nice surprise for the future. Now, if you do have some schedule problems, you are falling behind schedule, what can you do to solve those schedule problems? Well, first, we're going to ask the question, which is the least important, the schedule, the cost, or the scope? One thing that you can do is simply communicate that you are going to be late on the schedule. Or we can do the critical path schedule compression techniques of fast tracking or crashing. If schedule is more important than the scope, maybe there'll be agreement with management or customers to reduce the scope or reduce the quality. Oh, here is a schedule done by a friend of mine. It's a real project on a tunnel, a pedestrian tunnel somewhere on a university campus. This is his schedule. It happens to be in Microsoft Project, and I'm very pleased that he's showing a work breakdown structure in the far left-hand column. It's the typical work breakdown structure method. But hey, how come the work breakdown structure numbers are all mixed up? 1.1.2.3 comes before 1.1. Well, of course, if we look over at the right, we see that he has, after he created his work breakdown structure and his bar chart schedule, he asked Microsoft Project to sort the schedule bars in order of start date. Now, this schedule, as you can see, has actually been baselined. You can see a little symbol in behind each end of the schedule bar. So the blue is the current schedule, and there's black symbols in behind it, just emerging at each end, that show the beginning and end of the baseline bar. Let's go one step further. Here we are. We're in late October, and he has monitored his schedule to date. The heavy black bar is indicating when it actually started and finished. On the right-hand side, the blue bar is his current forecast. You can see the thin black baseline, and if you look into the future, he is forecasting to be about 2 weeks late. So these are just a few words about control schedule.